These pictures are the only pictures I have of my early childhood. They were taken before my mother became observant, and they remind me of a happier time.
When you have to lie as much as you do, it's like when you're not a believer amongst the believers. It's really, it just drains you. It drains you in every single way possible.
I felt isolation. I felt that I was being, sort of rejected, demonized. I felt that my thoughts weren't being respected, and it was hard because I knew that I would have problems at home.
I just prayed, please, don't let me lose my faith. That's all I wanted. But it was sort of at that point as well that I just did not feel the connection to God anymore, and I felt like all my pleas were just going into empty space.
I knew how much Islam meant to her, that it was everything. So I knew that it would be something, grave in her opinion, something that would potentially change our relationship forever.
I was around about 15 years old plus that I told them, and they didn't receive that well. I got abuse from my mum, swearing at me, telling me that Allah would be angry with me and that I will bring a curse upon the family.
I remember her reaction to this day. She began to cry. And it was upsetting because, as being the oldest child, I was always a source of pride for my mum. And she looked at me, and I think that it really registered with her, and she said to me, Amal, if it's between you and Allah, I choose Allah. And that's when I felt that the lines were clearly drawn, that I'd crossed a point of no return.
One of the uncles got in front of the car, the other uncle was at the back of the car, and I was scared because one of my uncles has been in and out of prison for fighting. So yeah, I was terrified, but it was only halfway through the journey that I knew that something was wrong. It was only when I got to the airport that I found out that I was due on a flight there to Pakistan, and I was threatened either I'd get on the flight or he would, beat the hell out of me.
And why did they want to take you back to Pakistan?
I suppose in their eyes I was out of control.
I don't even want to think about the possibility of what would happen if they found out. I'm just too scared. I know I'd lose them. That's it. Especially because all my mum cares about is that I'm a Muslim, and then that's the one thing that you've gone and said that's the one thing you can't do for her.
I, would consciously call home and ask to speak to her, and she'd refuse. She'd refuse to speak to me. And my sister would pick up the phone, and I'd chat to her for a while. Can I speak to Mum? No, Mum doesn't want to speak to you. So yeah, I remember that. And I remember my mum. Actually, I remember a time where, you know, like sort of a moment when, you know, I really felt pretty awful about what I was putting my mum through.
Prayer is where you ascend to the heavens, you've connected to Allah, then you have surrendered.
Allahu Akbar,
Nobody should discriminate a person just because they've left faith. Families are not for judging. We're not judges. We are simple servants of God. Those people who prejudice individuals for leaving the faith, they've misunderstood. Islam is about embracing even your enemy. Islam is about teaching those who may not have learned the faith properly. Islam is about sharing the goodness of the faith. It's not manifested if you're going to outcast them, prejudice them, throw them out of your mosque, in your center, your community, you will not speak to them. It's not a very loving way of approaching a human being.
Leaving your faith is a shock for your immediate family. And sometimes people exercise this pressure, maybe thinking that once the pressure is exercised, the person will think about it, reconsider the matter, maybe come back to the faith.
And by pressure, do you mean?
Social pressure, maybe psychological pressure. Different people have different ways of exercising, maybe bullying, maybe emotional blackmailing, whatever. Different people from different faiths exercise different ways.
And, but you think that's wrong?
Not in all cases, not all types of pressure.
I'm one person against many, you know, and I'm the one within that world that is completely wrong. I've turned into the enemy, so I'm not just going to risk and go into that battle for no reason.
If we understand Islam as a comprehensive way of life, which is, then of course leaving Islam will change everything, and as I told you, it includes changing the political allegiance, the social treachery to Islam. If he has committed that, then in an Islamic state before an Islamic court, it is like the punishment of treason, because it is treason.
And that punishment is?
As you know, okay, is a capital punishment.
I do feel sad slightly when I think about my family, and I do wish things were different, but I'm very happy in my life.
I don't know what the future holds for me yet. I don't know. It's just changed everything. You don't know how you're going to do anything anymore, and everything you do is going to be completely on your own.
I like to meet my brother that I never met. My parents had another baby boy when I left home. So I just want to go home and hug with my family that I miss.